While we're here real quick, so these are the two Nissan Leafs that we were actually using for instruction as well. So we were actually able to tear down these vehicles, show what the battery packs look like. I mean, these are 12, 13-year-old cars, but the technology that's evolved is really in this space over here, the battery pack. This was about 24 kilowatt hours in 2013. Now I can probably get 3 times the capacity in a Chevy Bolt. That's the same size, and I can go 200, 300 miles. So again, we're using these tools now to demonstrate, but we also have everything torn apart in terms of the motors and all the power electronics. You know, just like the RC car, that's the same thing, just 10 times bigger.
There's a Leaf motor?
So this is actually part of the CNC equipment here. So
okay.
Part of that manufacturing scope, you know, leverages tools that already exist. And so as a manufacturing person, you know, we don't sit there with a manual mill anymore like we did in the 50s and 60s. Everything's all computer. But if you don't understand that, you won't understand this.
Right.
So this was actually an effort to tear down, to understand, well, what's the servos look like, what the ball screws look like, what the actual mounting plates look like. So this was, again, kind of a tool that was...
You got to dissect it to really know it.
Exactly. So... and then in this case, we're also teaching students how to install charging systems, how to inspect charging systems, really how to get involved with this process, because, you know, that 2030 rule for electrification and not selling gasoline engines is great, but they also said we have a 90% grid resiliency, meaning that 9 out of 10 charging sequences has to work, versus now it's 30%. Every third, you know, option is actually works, and so that's not good. If students don't know how to troubleshoot, how to diagnose, or even install things correctly, how are we going to get to that 90% back? That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So we at least provide that opportunity there too. But yeah, so this is kind of a display table of all the hardware in there. So we have all the power electronics and things, and you can show this is a 13-year-old part. Does it look like a 13-year-old part? You know, it doesn't have oil and grit and dirt like a normal gasoline engine. So that's another emphasis of this program is, you know, we show them that, hey, we're dealing with technology that isn't wearing as much, it isn't, you know, decaying as quickly as our gasoline engines are, and therefore we have to do extra due diligence, you know, to test and to really kind of understand what the problem is. But in that whole time, we're also introducing a lot of the safety equipment that's involved, and so, you know, I just normally wear gloves when I'm working with a car, but when I'm dealing with high voltage safety, I need high voltage tools, I need arc flash suits. You know, so we're also able to show the right personal protective equipment, so they also don't get hurt. You know, when they're doing this, doing this sort of work in the future here.
So what's the oil flash suit? It's like oil proof or what?
Arc flash.
Oh, arc flash.
When you have, let's say, if I'm a utility company, I'm working on an energized panel. The airspace between that panel and myself is enough resistance where I can shock myself from standing at a distance. So like that battery pack is the same thing. You know, we're used to the utility world for the last 100 years, but battery packs are new for vehicles. The same amount of energy on a wall is the same amount of energy on this over here. So if I open this lid, that shock potential is still here.
Wow.
So these suits are required if you are opening up a battery or working with a battery, but they prevent that shock from happening. And if it does, it insulates yourself so you don't get hurt.
What's up with that pole right there?
So that's also required too. Let's say if I was, you know, one thing that we also emphasize is, so if you're a bad comedian, you can pull yourself off the stage. But also when you are dealing with the stuff, work in pairs. So if I do get shocked and I'm sitting there, you know, shocking myself, this is just there to pull away. So
it's not you grabbing him and then you're...
exactly. So this is a fully insulated stick where, you know, you have to work in pairs. You're observing each other, you're watching each other. If something does go wrong and you're only working as one and something goes wrong, you know, you really have no chance to recover. So this is a pull-away stick that is required, you know, when you're doing all this work. But one of the other kind of neat things is the tools that we're using are also insulated. So these are all rated for 1,000 volts and can also protect yourselves from metallic surfaces, just like the airspace. Voltage and current can seep through here and shock me, but unless it's insulated, you know, I need to have the right tool for the right job. So when I'm opening up battery packs and things like that, I use, you know, insulated tools specifically for that. So again, that's one of our emphasis.
Perfect. Awesome.
Yeah.
Man, awesome. And you got your welding stations out there?
Yeah, I got the welding stations. We've got a really nice fabrication table here.
Can I take a look at them?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do just a quick kind of review of MIG welding, TIG welding, oxyacetylene brazing, and so we come up with a couple of little hand projects and stuff for the students to work with, but just give them a kind of a real top level taste of the welding world, not to a certification level, but if they decide to go that, they at least, you know, can get their foot in the door and understanding, okay, this is MIG, this is TIG, this is how I need to set up, this is also how I need to prepare for safety with my respirators, my mask, you know, my my jackets and things.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
You guys manufacture all kinds of stuff right here.
Oh yeah. I mean,
You guys did this right here?
yeah. So this was actually a student design project. So one of the challenges was the two lifts that we have to raise and lower cars. If you wanted to raise and lower a car but have a battery pack that you need to remove, there's battery systems or systems out there that can you store the battery, you can lower it and wheel it out of the way. But the challenges with this lift is there's a hump in the center of it. So
Yeah.
if you have 1,000 pounds over a hump, that's going to be hard to move. So the complexity of this unit is really kind of surrounding the axle system and the suspension, where you can now absorb that bump, much more effectively without the battery pack, either
Rattling.
falling off or
Yeah.
damaging itself. And so this was by far the most robust battery tool I've ever seen, but one that is suited just for this application of bumps or any sort of part of the fixture that we need to come across here.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. When you come to Huron, man, so I can show you the stuff that we're working
I love
on.
it, yeah. Yeah. In fact, I think you have my contact information, but certainly let me know.